Through the Extreme Algebra program, I was introduced to algebra blocks. I use these algebra blocks to teach my students the four operations of integers. My students really enjoyed using these manipulatives to practice the four operations of integers. And here are a few examples of my students working with the algebra blocks.
Negative 3 and 3. Negative 3 plus 3 equals 0.
Through the Extreme Algebra program, I also learned to focus on my questioning. I try to improve on the quality of my questioning. I use this to work on my capstone project for my master's, and I focused on interviewing students for the four operations of fractions because of the extreme algebra. So here are just a few examples of how I improved on my questioning. I actually had the students create a word problem based on a given multiplication or division of fractions problem, and I questioned them on that particular word problem that they created. So you couldn't come up with a question for 1/4 divided by 2. So can you come up with a question using just whole numbers for division? So what if I gave you something like 4 divided by 2, what would you say? What kind of word problem would you come up with? One more time.
Lonzo has 4 siblings eliminated. He has 2 groups, right? How many siblings would those 2 groups get?
All right, good job. Okay, good. All right, so your question for 2 4/5 minus 2/3 said, my dad had 2 4/5 of a bag of nails, and my uncle uses 2/3 of the bag. How much were left? Okay, so how much bags, right? Okay, so why did you use that word problem for your problem for 2/3, 2 4/5 minus 2/3?
Because it's talking about subtraction.
And that word problem is telling them to subtract
From the bag of nails
that
our dad had.
and that the uncle took.
Okay. And then for 6 divided by 3/4, you said my mom had 6 pies and she divided it into 3/4. How many pieces did she have? Okay. Now, what if your question had said 3/4 divided by 6? Would that change your word problem?
Yes.
Okay, so I asked you to write a word problem for 6 divided by 3/4, and you wrote, if my friend has 3/4 of a cookie and he divides it by 6, then how many cookies do we each get? Now, that's a good word problem, right, because it is division. Now, but my question to you is, if I have 3/4 and I'm dividing it by 6, is that the same as 6 divided by 3/4? One of the activities that I plan to use in my classroom next year is the warm-up problem activity that we did. We were given this problem and we were asked to solve the problem in many ways as possible, both correct and incorrect. After we were given time to work these problems, we were asked to go to the board and show our work. We were called on in a particular order, and this showed a transition in the order that the problem should be solved. And I really liked this because it built upon each other, and it really showed how it could flow easily and help our students develop a particular type of thinking. Overall, I would have to say that the Extreme Algebra program really helped me on using manipulatives in my classroom, my questioning quality, and I would definitely recommend this to future teachers.